100%. All right, we'll kick this thing. We'll kick this thing off. This is our at what cost meeting. This is our 18th meeting. It is the 2nd of July. We do these every other Wednesday, like we said, at 8 p.m. Everybody's welcome to join on Discord, or you can catch them live on YouTube. You can catch them later. There's a lot going on in the UFCW right now, like a lot. And we've been on top of things, trying to keep the word going, keep the word spreading out there. People have been joining, a lot of new members out there. What's up, new members that have been coming in to check it out? And so shout out to all of them. But everybody's been talking about everything that's going on with all these contracts and different ratifications, strike votes upcoming, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's been cool to see everybody get connected and have conversations and communicate. It's something that we haven't had the ability or opportunity to do in the past. So that's been really cool to see. So shout out to everybody who's been taking part there. That's the grocery gang coming together and making it happen. And I hope we can continue to keep doing that. That's what At What Cost is all about. It's a group of union members that want to make the UFCW a stronger union, and we think we can help do that by becoming an active part of it, and making sure that the role of membership is in the considerations and the decisions that the union makes when it does things like negotiate our contracts and like work in favor of, whether it's collaborative bargaining with other locals across the country or coordinated bargaining with areas outside of our region, like in Southern California. It's that kind of stuff that, like, when all the members get connected and start participating with each other, it kind of unlocks that power from the bottom up, because the company has to know that we're capable of that. But even more so, when the union sees that we're capable of that, it emboldens them to take stronger action. And I think that we've seen that. So we'll never know really the role that we've played in trying to connect and trying to spread the word across the locals right now. We won't know that, but what exactly our role was in that, but it feels like we're playing a part, because it feels like this has never happened before, and stuff like this has never happened before. So shout out to everybody that's decided to take an active role in their union. That's a new kind of unionism that I hope that we can see spread, basically, because I think it's a great reflection of the kind of power that the UFCW has the potential to unleash on these companies if we can continue to do it. And we'll talk some more about it kind of as we go through, but it is really important to keep that in mind, that this is the new thing that's happening. This thing that we're doing, where we're talking about everything that's going on and we're sharing it with each other, that's the new thing. And it got more people involved, more people active than ever before. So shout out to everybody there. Real quick, just through our social media, we like to kind of update everybody on what's going on with that and kind of keep people in the loop on that. We have our Discord server, which is growing. It's got an additional 10 members since our last meeting, 147. What's up, new people? It's good to see you. Instagram got another 2 members. Facebook has got another 10 members, so big jump in Facebook. And there's been a lot more information getting posted on Facebook and a lot more conversations happening regularly on Facebook. So if you are in the Facebook group, or you do use Facebook and you haven't gotten in the group yet, check it out. All the links are available on this YouTube page. They're also available in the Discord server under the contact channel, or you can hit up anybody and just ask for a link to any of these social media pages, and you can you can do it. You can get involved in it. So everything's right there. 10 new members in Facebook. What's up to everybody new in the Facebook group? And on YouTube, we've got another 14 subscribers. That continues to grow. There's more and more stuff on the YouTube channel, so check it out if you haven't. These meetings are on there. This meeting's on there streaming. Apparently it's got like a not great connection. Hopefully it gets better. That would be cool. But the beginning of it looked like it sucked. So side note, I'm also recording it. If it ends up being bad, I'll post the good recording up so that the meeting's not all messed up. And shout out to Gina for helping me not mess the audio up for a second time. I almost messed it up again. and missed the other people, but I didn't this time. So thank you, Gina, for saving the day on that. That's cool. Also on the YouTube channel, just a heads up, there's this other show called Worker to Worker, and recently on the latest one that I put up, episode 10, I talked to a customer named Brandon down in Southern California. He's a San Diego customer who was going to shop in a Ralph store and saw the sign up that said that they were hiring scab workers, temporary workers, to in a potential strike, and he walked out and chose not to shop there and put up a YouTube short talking to people and telling them why it's important for customers to support strike lines or picket lines, or workers that are potentially going on strike. And so I hit him up, and we had a 40-minute conversation about how important it is for the community to support workers when they're going through this kind of thing, and how we're all really in this together, and this is a movement that impacts all of us. And when we are getting hurt as workers, it injures all of us. So it's really important that we stand together in solidarity, not just the workers that are in the store, with each other, like your brothers and sisters in your union, which is it's expected that you all stand together, but also the community members on the outside, that they stand with us also in support by not crossing the picket line and shopping there, and by doing other things that they can do to support us, whether it's through like financial donations or food and water, things on the picket line. If we were to ever go on strike, you guys would see that the community really rises up and comes out and shows a lot of love for union members that are having to take that fight to the company to get the respect that they deserve. So just keep that in mind, guys, that's out there. It is always, people wonder how customers are going to react. There was a lot of questions. People had a lot of questions about what do we do if customers are freaking out on us and stuff. And it does happen. You've seen some of the videos out there from Colorado of people with like bullhorns screaming at the strike line. That's very, very rare, but it does happen. What happens way more often is that you get a lot of love and support. So anyway, shout out to Brandon for coming on the episode. He's got a YouTube channel himself. It's linked in the description of the video that we did together, and he's going to be putting a lot of pro labor content together as he works on his consulting business that he's doing down in San Diego. So shout out to him. Thank you for the time that the customers, a customer put into sharing their perspective with us. We really appreciate, obviously, all of our customers. It's how we, continue to have jobs and work. So it's one of the things that we enjoy is like interacting with all of our cool customers. I know any of the grocery workers listening right now like know what customers I'm talking about. You can think about them. On the TikTok, we gained one follower, and I noticed a couple more videos popping up on there, so that's cool. If anybody else has any social media that they use and they want to do an at what cost page and they're part of this, like, absolutely feel free to do it. That would be cool. So right now we're going to talk contract negotiations. They're happening. It's like a heated time in Local 8 because we've never, like, we're getting ready to go authorize a strike. Nobody that I've ever talked to that is in all this time I'm talking to, like, within people like right now, my coworkers, everybody, these conversations I'm having, this isn't like the 10th time, the 4th time, 3rd time that they've taken a strike vote. Like many of them, all of them have never like authorized a strike vote. Like there's a lot of questions out there around like, when we take this vote, does that mean we're on strike? And the answer to that is no. We've spent a lot of time in at what cost, and like another shout out, I guess, to all of you guys for being here and like doing this, is that like we have put together a lot of informational content. There's a lot of stuff for people to dig into if they would like to learn more about unionism and being a part of their union, like including those things. What a ULP strike is, what an economic strike is, all those things like we've covered. So it's been cool to see, like, as these things are coming up and these questions are coming up, it's been cool to see us be able to kind of step up and answer those questions for people and give them information and point them to resources, show them where we got that information, and kind of help teach each other and educate each other on this whole process because it is so new for all of us. So just quick like recognition and thank you to the people that I've seen interacting in the chat, with all the people that are popping in and asking questions, people on Facebook that are interacting with each other and answering each other's questions. Like this like spreading of information from rank and file member to rank and file member, again, it's like it's exponentially where our power comes from. It's obviously way easier for us to take a piece of information and get it to 100 people, than it is for a person to do driving around in their car. Now, I will say, shout out to the UFCW. They have taken a huge, huge step forward in terms of like posting bulletins and updates and sending out text messages and keeping us in the loop. Like we're getting like multiples a day, dude. It's like a reality TV show just like unfolding before our eyes right now because there's so much going on. And so I do want to like give them credit, like give it's totally credit where it's due. The level of communication is increased. To be honest with everybody, like a lot of this like it, this information that we're like getting and like sharing with everybody, it's not like inside information, it's just posted information that for whatever reason people aren't plugged into. But once you do get plugged into it, like you're getting it if they're putting it out as quickly and as readily as they are now. So that's been cool. And I think there's some validity to our active participation being something that helped make that a reality. Again, it falls into that who would ever know, and you would probably never know, but for what it's worth, like good on everybody who's been paying really close attention to this and helping, by asking the questions, by demanding the information, helping get it out to the people in a broader sense. And I don't know, it's obviously contract time. That's why everybody's like so in a frenzy and like looking at it like hyper closely. But hopefully we can continue to like build on this momentum and like really recognize like the power of this moment is like coming from the fact that we're more connected than we've ever been, and keep like leveraging those connections to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Because if we don't like nurture that, if we don't build that, if it's not something that we're actively like working out, or that solidarity muscle like in the gym, the union gym, if we're not hitting that like regularly, then it falls apart, right? And we know that. So like I said, I'm going to say it a million times, it's are you seeing the results of the muscle we're building like as we move through this? So as it stands right now, with all these contracts that are going on, we'll just roll through all of them. We've got our strike votes in UFCW Local 8, NorCal, Local 5, and Local 648. Those are all happening next week. For UFCW Local 8 members, we have a physical location that we're going to in order to place our votes. Local 5 is using an app, and they get to vote via the app. I would like people to think about which method they would prefer, and if you would prefer an app, like let's consider maybe making that an organizing campaign for our next contract. Like we should have access to technology that makes it really easy to vote. It sucks for some people that live far away, like our brothers and sisters in Bernie, who are being asked to commute over an hour to get to this meeting, to be able to place their vote and participate in their union. And I don't think that's fair, personally. And having an app voting solution would make that really easy. And I'm sure there's plenty of security measures that can be put in place to make that a secure process and something that we could all trust as a membership. And that's just my personal opinion, but as it stands, we're all taking our strike votes next week. We were quick to start sharing the information and spreading it around, which was really cool. For some reason, they sent it like really broken up, so like you only got the information that was relevant to where you live, which I understand. Obviously, like in most scenarios, who cares about the other places? But like again, we're in a new era, and I guess like maybe show a little grace where it's due. If you've never seen it before, it might seem a little crazy, but like we want to know everything all the time. Like we want to be in the room, right? So like whatever you're saying is probably not enough. Uh, we were trying to scramble and grab information. People were asking specifically for where, well, I'm in this store, where do I go, blah blah blah. And they, to their credit, they put out this like master post that includes everybody's area. So go check out the UFCW website if you haven't. If it's something that you need access to, um, you can find it there, and it's one of their posts. But it's got everybody's vote location and their vote time in NorCal throughout the entire region. So you've got a spot to go. It's on a day, and if you're in a busy location or where there's a lot of stores, high density store location, you're gonna have like a 8 hour or longer day. And if you're in a more outlying area, you'll have a shorter window of time to vote. You're usually splitting a day with another outlying area, like the Quincy Susanville setup. So just keep that in mind. And what I like, for our brothers and sisters out in Bernie that are far away, it's an hour commute for them to get into town to place the vote at the Reading location. Some people who want to participate or don't have rides or can't get down there. So if anybody is willing to or able to, let's provide rides. The Discord server is a great place. Eeyore Lynette is in here right now. She'd be a great point of contact for anybody that needs rides. I know she was talking about coordinating a trip down here for voting, so she's got some seats available if anybody needs them. But anything that we can do as members to help support each other, for people who are in outlying areas that can't participate, if we can help them try to get there however we can, that would be super awesome. And that's kind of the idea, is how do we get everybody to participate? And if it's not easy, how do we fix that for the next time so it's easier, right? These outlying stores are always going to be there. We need to support them, and their voice matters just as much as every other person's voice in this union. And if we don't have like as close to 100% participation from our membership as we can get, then that's not true representation, right? So, will you ever get to 100%? That's like the promised land. You should always be striving for it, I guess. But if you're doing anything other than trying to get to that number, I question how much you want voices represented, right? There's this idea that like when you put a strike vote out, right, as a union, you need the union members to authorize the strike, right? It's embarrassing if you take the strike vote out and they say no, and they say they're not willing to strike, because then it's like, all right, well then here's your contract, right? You just sign it, because if you're not willing to strike, you're just taking a contract. It means you don't care. Like, you don't need the union, you don't want the union. So just here's the deal the company was offering. That's what a no vote on a strike authorization is. And they obviously the union doesn't want that. That's embarrassing. That makes them look bad. They're supposed to be able to leverage our collective power to improve our lives and working conditions. And if we're not willing to do the thing, which is stop working, if we're not willing to do the only thing that matters as a collective body of workers, which is to withhold our labor collectively, which means all of us, if we're not willing to do that, then we have no power. There's actually zero power. The contract doesn't even matter. The company doesn't even follow the contract ever. Their company's currently stealing from us right now. They're not even following the wage tables of the contract. The company was supposed to be funding into our Lisa retirement account starting on August 2024. They're not. Okay? It doesn't. The only thing we have is our ability to stop working. That's the leverage of the union workers. So when it comes to things like a strike authorization vote, they need a yes. The more people that participate, the more people you get involved that like could potentially not vote the way the union wants you to vote. So there's a theory out there that restricting the number of participants restricts the number of people that you have to influence to vote your way. I think the actual path forward, and I believe that, and not just, it's not my personal opinion, I think that the right thought process on this is that in a democratic union, what you want to do is make sure that your membership is educated, and then that they then go make an informed decision, right? That they have all the information that they need to understand the decision that they're making, and then they go and make that decision, then they own that decision. True power comes from that. That's where your true power arises from. And we do have those points of leverage in our union. We have a couple of democratic ways to leverage our power in our union. One's in these strike authorization and these contract ratification votes. That's one way. And the other is in our local leadership elections, where we also vote. So basically, our vote is the only voice we have, because in our specific situation, for whatever reason, our voices haven't really been like directly acknowledged. And so this is the other way. So keep that in mind. Those strike votes are coming. That's a big deal. And we will be authorizing both an economic and a ULP strike. So if you need more information on what those are, you can ask anytime. And you can also check out the YouTube channel. There's a video that breaks down the difference between the two. And just make sure you understand what it is that you're voting on. When it comes to that communication style or that communication tactic that we talked about, where you don't really share the information that you don't want people to know. I like to bring up the frequently asked questions from the union website. It's a 2-page document that covers like 12 different points about a ULP strike and how ULP strikes work. But the very last tiny portion of it mentions that we also take economic strike votes when we take our strike votes. And so, but that's all the information that they give you about an economic strike. So look into that, educate yourself on what that is. If you have questions, ask your rep or ask, anybody in this group can help you answer that question if you do have questions about it. And those are the 2 different strikes that we'll be voting to authorize next week when we go take our strike authorization votes. Now, there has been a twist. There has been a crazy twist in that they will also be negotiating on those 2 days, the 8th and the 9th. And this is Local 8, our local up here in NorCal, Local 5, and Local 648 in San Francisco. They will be negotiating on those 2 days, and they are currently the only remaining locals that don't have a tentative agreement. Southern California just tonight signed a tentative agreement. The members haven't had a chance to vote and ratify the contract yet, but the update is out and the word is spreading. Apparently a flyer leaked from Kroger saying that it was $2.70 in raises over the life of a 3-year contract. I heard it was not that it might have been $3.70 in raises over the life of the 3-year contract, but we do not have any confirmation on that information. We do not know any details of the SoCal contract yet, but they have signed a tentative agreement, which is before ratification. So the members still have a chance to ratify the contract. They're going to be having a informational meeting with their membership on July 7th and July 8th, and people are going to be able to ask questions, and I'm hoping that they're able to see the deals of the contract. I'm guessing this is a very open local, so I'm guessing during this meeting it's going to be one of those like old school style union meetings where they actually read through the entire contract. There was a period when Kim Cordova in Colorado was getting the contract for Kroger, and she just went live on Instagram and just started reading through the contract. So that would be awesome. That would give us a really good chance to see what's in it, what the information is in there, because Local 8 decided not to sign with them with that tentative agreement. And now I know Local 8's NorCal, but don't forget, we have Vaughn stores that are Local 8 that are down in Southern California that have been bargaining with this Southern California coalition this entire time, and they did not sign that tentative agreement. Instead, Jacques Laval came out and let those counties know. He put this bulletin up and said, hey guys, for the first time ever, California is now fully aligned. All the Local 8 stores from SoCal all the way up to NorCal, so from the Grapevine to the Oregon border, I believe is the words he used, we have all of Local 8 currently in open active bargaining. That's never happened before. It's like it says it's a rare and special moment in Local 8. And he thinks that we can get something better than what the SoCal locals took in their contract. So he didn't take it. We're still taking our strike votes. We are also going to be bargaining the same day we're taking our strike votes. We could have a tentative agreement come out of those negotiations. So that could happen as we move through next week. And then we would be doing the same thing they're doing in SoCal, which is voting on that contract. Now, the reason why it's so important for us to authorize the strike is because that sends a message to the company that we're willing to do it. It does not guarantee that we have to do it. So give the power of the strike. We have to unlock that. It's one of the, like we talked about just a second ago, it's one of the few levers we have in our union, few democratic levers we have with our vote to control things. And this is to unlock and unleash the power of the strike. We are now, all of California, Local 8, we're missing all the SoCal people. Washington also ratified a contract. So it's just us in Cali now, just Local 8, Local 648, and Local 5. But there are over 40 stores in Colorado that are now on strike, and they keep rolling them up. And you guys know, some of you guys have had managers pulled out of your stores, and they're working over there right now. Shout out to the sisters and the brothers in Local 7. They're out on strike for their third week now. They're going into the 4th of July. They're the only local in this entire bargaining unit, these many, 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 many locals that had the courage to go out before the holiday. And I'm actually, like, personally, I was of two minds. Like, I was like, oh man, this might be all over. This would be great to get a tentative agreement. But at the same time, I do not want to leave them hanging out there. They're fighting for what they feel like they deserve, and we all feel like we deserve more. So it's exciting to think that we might still be in that fight with them. Hopefully the company comes to its senses. A lot of our managers are out there working, so a strike threat from us would be like a 1-2 punch, right? Do you bring your managers back to NorCal, which is your money-making area? Yes, you do, obviously. And then that lets Colorado fall apart. Who knows? So there's a lot of moving pieces going on right now. But the active piece of this for us up here in NorCal is that the SoCal tentative agreement has not resulted in a tentative agreement for us yet. It might be the leverage point we need in this next bargaining session next week. So we'll see. Those bargaining dates we didn't know about those bargaining dates until this update came out. So I don't know how long ago those were scheduled, but the timing of it's pretty sick. So showing up, being loud, taking pictures, posting them up on social media, tagging Safeway, letting them know you're coming for them while you're placing your strike vote would be pretty sick. Look for that from us. I think it's definitely something we should set up as an action item in our group, and it be loud and proud and scare the company. They see that kind of stuff, it sends a strong message. And like we talked about at the very beginning of this, a lot of what's happening right now we'll never know for sure, but it hasn't happened in a really long time. There hasn't been this kind of energy in a really long time. So if it's having a positive impact, what I always learned was, like, do more, right? Keep doing it. So shout out to Jacques, shout out to John Heisey, shout out to our bargaining team for, like, I was going to say, like, for throwing us out there to the wolves to strike, but for having the courage to continue to fight for more if they feel like we deserve it. I will never say that we deserve less than what they get us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll never come at us with a contract where we're like, oh yeah, dude, you should have gave us less. So I'm all about it. Go get it. Another cool thing about what we're building here is that we'll all be able to come together and see it and look at it and check it out together. Yeah, we'll have to see why SoCal accepted. I wondered why 3000 accepted, and we'll talk about that in just a second, because we're gonna open it up. And we're gonna ask some questions like everybody that's on the call right now, that's here. You're out in different stores. Some of us work in the same stores. Feel free to jump in the chat or unmute your mic and talk about it. What is the vibe out there regarding our upcoming strike vote? Are you guys hearing people talk like they're going to vote yes, that they're going to vote no? What's the vibe on the strike?
The couple people I've talked to, I have one that I know for sure is going to vote yes. The rest didn't really seem that interested, honestly. They kind of listened to me a little bit in the break room and then said, huh, and walked away. So up here in Bernie, I have no idea what the vibe is.
All right.
I think 273 is definitely leaning towards the strike. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could confidently say we have probably about 95% of everyone that are in agreement with saying yes on the strike.
I feel it in my store. Everybody I've asked has said that they're voting yes. Obviously it's a secret ballot, so people can say that so that they don't get, harassed or whatever, and vote however they want. Black Violet says that nobody's really talking about it except a few of the old timers who plan to vote yes. That's a good, point in that, like, if people don't care, like what it sounds like, some people up in Bernie seem like they don't care, they're indifferent, they're probably not going to make the trip to go vote. They're probably not going to go to the location and vote. And that was something that union staff brought up as a positive to having it at a side location, is that if you're not willing to like go participate, then at least you have to like go do the thing. And so if you don't care enough to authorize it, basically, he was saying without saying, then you're not going to participate. And the people that don't participate, their vote doesn't count. So just to dispel a myth out there or a rumor out there, no vote, nope. The person that doesn't show up, they don't get counted as a yes or a no. They just don't get counted at all. So like, if just me and Tony went and we're the only ones that went and we both voted yes, then the union would like put out a bulletin that said that Local 8 authorizes a strike vote with a 100% yes. And that's how they would pitch it. So only the people that vote get counted. That's the point there. So there's strategy there. Like, if you want to get into the weeds with it, it's like, hey, are you gonna vote on the strike? And they're like, yeah, I'm voting no. And you're like, oh, okay, it's at the Cheesecake Factory on the other side of town. Make sure you're there at this time. Don't do that. I'm just joking, but just keep that in mind. It is, if people don't care, they're probably not going to vote, and so we don't care. It's interesting to think about all that and think about what would happen in an actual strike, because obviously, if not enough people stop working, that breaks the strike. Then you have to have that to have the strike. So, in our store, I would say that the vibe is that it's a yes vote on the ULP strike for sure, and there is a lot of concern around the economic strike. To that, I would say I agree and feel you 1,000%. That's an accurate emotion to have, because one is infinitely riskier than the other. That's the reason why the ULP strike is so powerful and why it's really
Eric,
important. Yeah.
you're getting a lot of feedback and you're sounding like a robot to a lot of us. We
Well,
can't understand some of what you're saying.
oh, thank you. Has that been going on for a long time?
For a little bit now, yeah.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'm going to press 2 buttons.
Yeah, if you could actually just redo everything you just said for the last hour, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, dude, I'm
I
about
thought
to.
I thought I was listening to Daft Punk this whole entire time.
That's why you're here. I knew it, dude. I knew there was a way to
Yeah,
get
bro. I
you.
was like, damn, my playlist is fire today.
1 second. Let me press a button. Hey, bro. Playing something? Playing something out for me? Oh my god, dude. That's so funny. Tony's like in a dream state. So just, for people that are watching at home, this is what rank and file unionism looks like. It's like duct tape and 56K modem meetings. We'll get better. A lot of people at Marisa's store are disinterested. Some people are coming up asking for more info. They want to know the difference between the strikes. A lot of concern, a lot of uncertainty. People are trying to learn all of a sudden. Yeah, that's okay. That's the problem. And the reason it's a problem is because people only care like at this moment. It's like not enough time to be where you need, right? When we talk about like having to get into the gym, that's that. That's the you have to being here and working out and having these conversations and staying connected is how you avoid that issue. And it's like there's this like, oh man, you should have been here 6 months ago or whatever mindset that like it's easy to have that, because we've been like really trying like really we've been trying really hard to find you. We've been really looking hard to try to connect with you, and unfortunately our union's not helping us. They're actually hurting us in that sense. It would be a lot easier if they assisted, and this obviously is like for the right reasons. It's for good. I'm glad people are looking now. Get as much information as you can, as fast as you can. And if you can't get it fast enough, find somebody you trust and ask them what you should do. And that's okay to do too. When it comes to deciding whether or not you're going to cross the picket line or not, like we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a lot more. Um, that's when it comes to unionism, and I'm just going to throw it out there. Scabbing, crossing the picket line, being a scab is in my opinion it's the red line, right? Like it's the moment that you decide not to be a union member anymore. Some people will say that's not a big deal. They don't care. They're gonna do it. There's people that don't give a shit and they're gonna scab. That never goes away. Like you have to when people are deciding, when people are being forced into a situation where they have to decide whether or not to withhold their labor in order to get a fair wage. Like we're talking fair wages right here. Nobody's in this room fighting for a yacht. We're looking for a fair wage. If you're not willing to do that, you're in the wrong trade. This is the UFCW. Like we are a union. We collectively bargain to improve our lives and our working conditions. And part of that collective bargaining is this process right here that you're seeing. It's now July 2nd. We're almost 3 months past when our contract expired. That is a extreme level of disrespect from the company that we work for. It shows us that they don't care about us as workers. The fact that they're not willing to discuss our wages with our union in these negotiations is a very obvious lack of bargaining and good faith. These are all rights that we have protected to us under law. These are unfair labor practices that they're committing against us when they don't do these things. And they're testing us because they don't think that we have the power to stand up for our rights. Our right to decent wages, our right to safe working conditions. But we haven't gotten pushed to this point as a union before for whatever reason. But here we are now. So we're getting to it as fast as we can. We're getting to it as quick as we can. We're talking about it as much as we can. And I guarantee you, this is more than it has ever happened before. So just keep going. Just keep doing it. Just keep letting people know what's going on. Get them plugged into the UFCW website. Make sure they're getting all their texts and their updates. Have them talk to their reps. That's another big thing. And we've got this organizing thing that's coming up here pretty soon. But before we go into this next thing, I want to ask, I kind of want to throw it out there and kind of ask the group, like, I'm very aggressively like anti-scabbing. Like I've let people know that like that's a red line for me as a person, because if I'm out there on the picket line risking everything I own, my life, my family, everything, if I'm risking that all for my brothers and sisters, I expect my brothers and sisters to do the same. And if they choose not to, then that's not my family member. That's not my brother. That's not my sister. That's not my union member. I have a red line when it comes to scabs, and I'm just curious what people's opinions are on that, how people feel about that, if people are considering crossing the picket line themselves, what the reasons are for that. And obviously, if you say any of that after what I just said, I guess you have a lot of courage, because that was, obviously I'm aggressively like anti, but in all honesty, like I get that it's a really tough decision. But that's how I personally feel. Does anybody have anything they want to speak on that, or is there any questions that anybody has about that, crossing the picket line specifically?
You and I've had the discussion already about ULP and economic, and I am definitely for the ULP, but I'm really on the fence on the economic. But no matter what happens, if the vote comes across that we're going to do an economic strike, my butt's going to be out there. I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm going to be out there.
And I do have a question too, about the like economic and ULP, because it looks like in like the verbiage that they put out, they're gonna put them together. Now, is that right? We're gonna vote one separate and then the second one separately, or are they gonna be on the same slip?
It's I asked that. I'm glad you asked that. It's going to be two separate ballots, so it'll be very clear to you which one you're voting on.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
And yeah, to Tony's point, just for those of you that can't see the Discord chat, there is strike pay. He says scabbing is silly. There is resources available. There is strike pay from Local 8. The International will release strike funds for us. Obviously, there's community support. You can pick up a second job. You can moonlight, basically. You can do whatever side jobs you want to do to make money and hustle. If you Instacart, you just can't shop at a Safeway, obviously, because you'd be crossing the picket line. But you can Instacart, you can Spark, you can DoorDash. Foot finder, you can get that dust off that old feet finder profile, and get those piggies back up on the internet. Whatever you got to do, you can make that money. And like Tony's like, don't scab, bro, get that cash. I do want to say, like, and like, this is a beautiful story. I'm not going to say the names of the people. I know we're all about transparency here, but like in my store, we have a member who was really concerned about not being able to afford to pay her bills. Basically, if we went on strike, if she lost a day of pay, she wasn't going to be able to afford her bills. And there's a lot of people. There's 60% of us are living paycheck to paycheck, right? So there's a lot of people out there that this is a terrifying prospect for. Okay, so you're not alone in feeling that way. Just know that. But this person has been talking about it and has been talking about how, they don't want to, obviously, but they don't see how they can't. And another coworker pulled her aside and said, "Hey, listen, like, I got some extra money. I got it from my social security or whatever she said. If you need something during that time, you just ask me. If we end up having to go out and you need something, you just ask me." And that is a beautiful, like, one-to-one moment, like, just worker to worker, the that type of power, like, connecting like this, having these conversations, opening up like this, being a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family, a union in its truest sense of the word. It unlocks those moments for each other, and that's a solidarity building moment. You don't break that for nothing. The company never comes between that, and those bonds don't exist between us. Part of the reason is because we haven't been tested in these types of moments as aggressively as we probably should have. But some of that is, I feel like, on the structure of our union. I don't think our union is structured in a way to encourage those types of things to occur naturally. Like, hanging out at the bowling alley all together is a way to leverage the social connections that would unlock those types of bonds, right? So, surprise, there's a hidden agenda. We want you all to like each other, and I want to like you too. And it happens at the bowling alley. But yeah, I appreciate Tony. I'm on board. That's UFC organizing. Let's go. Adult entertainment industry deserves a union. The UFCW should be that union. I would like the swag, please. But okay, it sounds like in general sense, we're not into scabbing. We don't support scabbing, but the level of aggressiveness that I bring to it is not shared amongst all members. So that's the end of our conversation there. At What Cost does not have an official stance on scabbing, and it is not to string them all up. Just don't scab. And if you do scab, don't talk to me. We have a call tomorrow. We have a conference call tomorrow. The information is pinned to the Safeway contract conversation. So if you hit the pin, you can see the Zoom link. I'm going to copy it right now and put it in the chat for anybody that's here in the chat. We have a Zoom call tomorrow at 4:30. I would highly encourage you to register for that Zoom call, even if you can't make it because you work. This Zoom call is going to be hosted by the Essential Workers for Democracy. They are going to cover a lot of different strike information tactics, strike readiness tactics. They put together a strike ready toolkit on their website, Essential Workers for Democracy. We'll be talking about a lot of this stuff. Some of you might have seen these on your break room tables. We printed some out and put them around some of the stores. It's got information on how to talk to customers about what's going on when we're on strike. It's got information about how to turn away truck drivers who are trying to make deliveries. It gives us all of our rights on the picket line, so we know if we're getting harassed by management, what we can and can't say. And they talk about a lot of things that we can do as union members before we actually strike to show the company that we're not messing around, in hopes of avoiding a strike. Honestly, like, you're trying to do it to avoid the strike, but at the same time also building those bonds between us, building that sense of family, that union. It helps build that too. It's called a structure test, where we do escalating actions moving towards the highest of activities, which is the strike. Starting at the strike, like we're trying to do right now, creates the situation that you guys saw in the chat, where Marisa is talking about everybody feeling this sense of panic and sense like they don't know enough about what's going on. Like, I've heard numerous times, I'm sure you guys can agree, I've heard numerous times of people say, like, I should have been paying more attention, but I wasn't. What's going on? That's been said numerous times. So that's another benefit to what we have going on here. Discord messages are like popping up twice for me, dude. Yeah, dude. The Tony at 1954, bro. The non-union drivers aren't even coming by. Like, every vendor knows my philosophy on the red line. The shelves will be empty. at 1954. That is a guarantee, and that's another. Those are bonds that we've built through our personal relationships over time. The company doesn't have it. These corporate suits don't have it. They don't know the community, the customers, the people, each other. They don't know us like we do, and so they don't. When we lock in like this, when we support each other like this, they can't handle it. They cannot. They can't keep up with it for even a second. So stay tuned there. We'll keep talking about that. We'll talk about it even more when we go off mic, but I want to rock through this agenda. Get on that Zoom call. Get registered. If you can't make it, I recommend registering anyways, because it will get you on the email list to make sure that when they have future Zoom calls that you get invited to them. And they're doing like a know your rights shop steward seminar like really soon. Actually, this is in a couple weeks. We should actually check this out and look into it. But the legal rights of union shop stewards, you guys should take this. I know there's shop stewards in this room right now. You guys should get registered for this, right? And consider taking this. Here's the link for it right now in the chat. That's awesome. That's the kind of information that we should be getting from our union. And I know they're trying to do a better job at it. I saw in our Voice of Action, they put up a bunch of pictures of their shop steward classes. Those looked really cool. I can't wait till we have some of those. Just to throw it back to the group as we continue to move towards, oh my God, Desiree, that's a massive, massive paragraph. I'm going to have to read that. Is this your treaty on strikes? Ooh. Just to throw it back to the group, are you guys out there wearing your buttons? Is everybody showing up in their buttons? What are some things that you think that we can do as members as we move through this process to show management that we're ready to fight for a strong contract, to show the company? The button campaign's one thing. Practice picketing's another thing. Does anybody think that there's any benefit to doing any type of this escalating action? Should we try to rock this button campaign even harder? We've been like talking about it pretty openly and loudly on the sales floor, letting customers know we're getting ready, that type of stuff. Anybody have any ideas on that as we move towards what could potentially be a strike?
Um, sorry. I don't know about anybody else, but in my store, when I'm talking to other employees who are asking me about what's going on, they oh my gosh, they customers hear us what we're saying, and they ask us, hey, what's going on? Are you guys striking, or should I leave now? Like, they're really interested, and a lot of them who are asking the questions, and I let them know honestly what's going on. I mean, I do baby code it a little bit, but I let them know what's going on, and oh no, we're not really, but not yet. We're getting ready to, possibly. Our customers are with us, and they just want to know when, and how they can get involved to help us, which I appreciate very much.
Tony, you referring to the strike vote dates? Yeah, got all of them should be up on the union boards, and thank you, bro, for being all over the union board. By the way, that has been awesome to have. Actually, like in our physical break room, up to date union information constantly, and it's been like staying up to date. Every time a bulletin comes out, Tony prints it and puts it on the board. So he's taking the internet and he's bringing it like out into real life. That's cool. Just a heads up, Black Violet, I read what you said, and I take that. I take that to heart about judging harshly and calling them not family, shitty, and polarizing. I will consider the way that I frame that sentiment, and thank you for sharing that. Teamsters always support. That is 100% true. UPS, shout out to UPS. Our driver has already told us he will not deliver a single package to us while we are on strike. So all that stuff that we get from UPS is just going to pile up at the warehouse until we're off strike. That's pretty cool. Mike, I think Mike threw it up on there yesterday when he came in. I'm not sure 100%, but that might have been him. So even him having a spot where he knows he can go to put information up is super badass. So way to go there. That's cool. What else do we got going on? Customers, talking to customers. I think Jenica is that's a really good idea. And kind of just letting customers know it's coming, that we can really use their support, especially our regular customers. You guys know the ones I'm talking about, the ones that you see every day. Those are the ones that aren't going to want to look you in the face and like cross the picket line. They're going to go shop somewhere else for the meantime. They're going to go to Holiday. They're going to go to Walmart, even maybe, hopefully not. They're going to go to Food Max and Save Mart, ideally. That's where we would like our customers to shop while we're on strike, is at other union locations. But we understand that that's not an option, and Grocery Outlet is at least locally owned. So, we can kind of give a little bit there. But in theory, you want to send them to another union shop. But whatever it takes to get them to not shop there, even if it means Wally World. Just a quick heads up, we have the at what cost shop. Pretty cool. It has stuff. It has stuff in it that you can buy. All the stuff is marked up above cost, so there is a profit associated with this stuff. Food Max and Save Mart are the two stores that are union here. Smiley, just a heads up. If you're in Bernie, Grocery Outlet's the only other store, but for Bernie customers, they actually didn't have an option before. So being able to support you guys and get groceries from Grocery Outlet's kind of cool. So they can stay in town and not cross the picket line. No scab pays, just strike pay. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It'll be really interesting. So the other thing that happens once we authorize our strike vote, just for those people that are talking about that right now in the chat, once we authorize that strike, that unlocks all that funding. So all the money starts to move for us, and then we can get an idea of what our strike pay is going to be. So just a heads up, why we don't know that yet is because none of that money starts getting authorized and approved until we take our strike vote. So that's coming. And yeah, strike pay it's good tool. It's a good tool. Yeah. Just okay. So pharmacies just came up. Just a heads up on pharmacies. Like, your pharmacies will still be open, even if most of your store isn't open. Rest in peace, Rite Aid. That's really sad. But your pharmacy will be operating, and for customers that are curious about crossing the picket line to go to the pharmacy but not shop in the store, like, we're totally down with that. Go get your medication, show support by not shopping in the store, and obviously no one's trying to stop people from getting their meds. Some people will move their medications during the strike to a different pharmacy to support us, but just know that, like, in general, when it comes to that, obviously, like, we're not harassing customers that are trying to get access to their medication, right? Just real quick on the shop, check it out. There's at what cost stuff you can buy. There's there's cups. There's no scab button. There's some shirts. There's a crop top. There's the vintage style at what cost logos. There's a sick Beware of Scabs shirt that you can buy. It says Beware of Scabs and solidarity. Brought to you by At What Cost. These shirts do generate a profit, and the profit goes to our solidarity fund. Basically, what's happening is we're hanging on to the money, and if anybody decides that they would like to run for office, they can use any of the money that's in that solidarity fund to help support that. The items are marked up 40%. I don't know what link you're referring to, but I will fix it. Eeyore, just a heads up. Just let me know what link it is, and I'll get you a new one. The items are marked up 40%, so the profit, okay, gotcha. The profit is 40% of these total sales. So $81.97 of stuff has sold so far, and that's $38 of profit. So there's $38 in the solidarity fund. Cha-ching! If you need a tank of gas, we got you. coming at you. That's the point of that, is to just help support anybody that wants to run for office. I will fix the link in the agenda if it's the link for the store. There it is if you want to look now. Check it out. Pretty cool. That's it on that. That's the At What Cost shop. There's also a link to it in the there's a channel up on the top that says the shop that just has that link there. So also it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy, not easy I guess, but it's pretty fun to make stuff in like Photoshop and do stuff like that. So if you like that, if you enjoy doing that, and you want to make like any designs for any type of merchandise or anything, like just remember nobody owns any of this material, so feel free to make something. And it would be cool if you made something and we got to put it up on there and people could buy it, like people from your store that knew you could buy that stuff. That would be pretty sick. So if you know anybody that likes designing stuff like that or making stuff like that, if you like making stuff like that, it would be cool to add your stuff to that. So keep that in mind. That's the store. Just a real quick touch on third persons being pulled to work the strike. Those are $30 an hour managers that are now being used to work in the union positions that Colorado workers are out on the picket line trying to get higher wages for. So they're willing to pay $30 an hour California third person managers that also get full benefits. Like these aren't scabs that are just making that wage with nothing else. These are full-time, fully benefited, fully workers comp, fully Social Security paid into $30 an hour management that they're trying to use to break this strike. So that's the company we work for. That's Safeway, Albertsons. They've shown us that. And that's all I got to really say about that. One thing I will say is that a lot of those managers are not happy about it. I've had some friends reach out to me that I know from my time as a bootlicker, and they are very upset about having to go. And some of them have even like pledged their support kind of in secret and anonymity. So if they're catching this, like, shout out to you. I see you, and I look forward to seeing the pictures of those torn up stores on the inside. And if you let me know what hotel you're staying at, I will make sure that a very loud boombox comes and hangs out outside for all of you sleeping managers. Stay tuned on that. We'll be able to see all that if it actually happens. Because you know how Local 7 likes to put their stuff online, dude. I love watching those videos of them going in and blowing the whistle on those stores, man. What do you guys think about managers being called to cross the picket line on our siblings? How does that make you feel that the company's willing to do that? Black Violet's talking about signs being put inside the store promoting scab pay and how high scab pay is. Nobody wants to talk shit about their manager that's about to get sent to Colorado. Got you. Just joking. We have stuff coming up, like we always do, events that we put on to hang out with each other, build solidarity. Just a quick recap, and then we'll roll into closing comments. Hopefully the sound on my side's been okay. And I think the YouTube video has been like off and on in terms of quality, so my apologies there, but we are recording a backup, so we'll check that out. But as far as events coming up, we have our weekly basketball happens at Enterprise Park at 6 o'clock every Friday night. Come hang out at Enterprise Park in the basketball courts, play basketball. We had 15 people come hang out last time. 10 of them were playing basketball, and the other 5 of us were hanging out on the sidelines. And it was cool to kick it with everybody. And it's a super casual event, so bring ice chest, bring water, bring your family. Everybody's just hanging out, and it's just the idea is exactly like what we talked about, is just building those bonds, finding our common connection, finding our common ground, hanging out, talking about what's going on, and just building solidarity. So when it comes time to call on it, everybody knows what's going on and we have each other's back. So basketball happens 6 o'clock every Friday. Good to see everybody out there. Shout out to Robbie for setting that up. This Friday is obviously Friday is the 4th of July, so I'm guessing everybody's got stuff going on, but they are still going to be playing, and it's going to be at Magnolia Park over by Aiden's house because it's Aiden's birthday on the 4th of July. So if you want to go to Magnolia Park in Reading and hang out with them, you can do that. Otherwise, we will be back to Enterprise Park the following week. Also, we have Country Bowl again. We're going to do it on July 20th. That is the third Sunday. So on the third Sunday of every month, we do a hangout here in the north side, Reading, Anderson area. And Country Bowl, we did it last month. Country Bowl was awesome. We had a great time. It's going to be coming up again at the end of this month. We'll have another meeting before then to remind you. But if you want to mark your calendar now, get a request off or whatever, early shift, it's going to be at 1:30 on Sunday, July 20th, Country Bowl in Reading. And there's a badass bar there. So yeah, come check it out. And we played a game and then we went and hung out in the bar. We've got a Sacramento event happening on the regular now. So that'll be popping up in the event tab eventually. I'll get it set up in there for the regular reoccurrence. But Brewhouse and Break Rooms in Sacramento, they are hanging out on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. Every Tuesday, 6 o'clock at the Fox and Goose in Sacramento. Go hang out with the Sacramento people, the Sacramento At What Cost people. Jake from Rayleigh's, Alex from Save Mart, and a couple people from Safeway have popped in the last couple times, and it's going to keep going. Jake was just there yesterday and said a few people came, and he's just going to make it a regular event. So Tuesdays, 6 o'clock at the Fox and Goose, you can hang out in Sacramento. That'll be ongoing. To keep track of all of these things, you can check out the event tab here in the Discord server. And I would also like to throw it out to a Facebook admin maybe and see if we can get these events posted into the Facebook group. I think that it would be helpful for people there to see them as events that are regularly occurring. I like the few times that you guys have put events up there where people can like click like they're attending or whatever, and then it gets like a reminder. That's pretty badass. So I was just wondering if anybody in the Facebook page was interested. It would be cool to get those events also posted there. So those are ongoing things. We have basketball every Friday in Reading, bar, food, and beer every Tuesday in Sacramento, and then the third Sunday of every month. So far right now we've been doing bowling. So that's all of our events we've got going on. Black Violet did make a comment on managers having to cross. They're usually on our side, but they have to do what they're told or they get fired. People like receivers and department managers who wanted to cross but didn't want their coworkers to know, so they got placed in stores where people didn't know. Yeah, that's like if you're gonna scab, go scab at a store where nobody knows you at the very least, so you're not looking the people in the face directly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I respect that. That's the sentiment basically, is like they're forced to, right? They don't want to, but they'll lose their job. They don't have the same protections that other people have when it comes to that. And so it's a catch-22 for them. And you're right, for a lot of managers, a lot of the good managers, I'm sure everybody knows, at least one maybe. It matters. Like these are the people that you work with every day. Like you care about them too. It's not like they're bad people just because they're managers, right? So it does suck for them. And for the bad managers, like, yeah, get smoked, dude. But it's what really sucks is when they start posting up on their social media pages, like pictures of them all going out to the bars at night and like going to escape rooms and having like a good old time while we're out there striking. Like, sucks. But anyway, that's a wrap. We're just gonna roll into closing comments and then we'll go. Stop recording and go into an open mic for anybody who wants to talk off mic or off the recorded session of this meeting. But honestly, like we are in truly, like this is a truly historic time for grocery workers. Like these contracts that we're negotiating, they're a result of coordination across locals and states versus multiple companies simultaneously, like Kroger, Albertsons, Stater Brothers. This is never happened. The companies like are coming at us in a harder than they've ever come before. Specifically, Albertsons and Kroger. They have a lot of resentment towards the unions for squashing the merger. Like, don't forget, they tried to merge and form a mega monopoly so that they can exploit us even further. And a lot of our very militant UFCW locals got together and started the Stop the Merger campaign. Then they were able to convince Congress to vote down or to shut down the merger, basically vote that it was going to say that it was going to be a monopoly in court and shut it down. As a result of that, billions and billions and billions of dollars were given to shareholders and withheld from us in wages. And that resentment has carried over into these contract negotiations. We're not getting the respect that we deserve from the companies that we work for. They're pissed. They hate us. They don't respect us. Washington got them a contract. They settled. They ratified their contract. It gives them a stronger coalition of Washington union locals for the future. It's a 2-year contract, so in 2 years they'll be back at the table bargaining again as the entire state of Washington. We don't know what SoCal has yet. SoCal is waiting to see their tentative agreement, but they did sign a tentative agreement, so the members are going to be voting to ratify their contract or not. There are over 40 stores, so hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of our brothers and sisters in Colorado are currently out on the strike line right now. Our management is being used to scab and work across those picket lines. They are going to be going into their 4th week of the strike next week. If they hold the line or don't get a tentative agreement through the holiday weekend, that will start their 4th week of striking. So that is 1 month. That's a long time. Local 8 just went like straight Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan. Jacques Laval did not, I repeat, did not sign the tentative agreement with Southern California. Instead, he took the Southern California stores and merged them up with the Northern California stores and formed a super coalition with Local 5 and Local 648. He came out straight up and said that we believe that we can get a better deal than what the Southern California tentative agreement was, and that it's going to take our strength and our patience, but they can make huge gains. And that strength is us. We are that strength. When Jocks feels empowered, when our local leadership feels empowered to put their foot down and stand up against the companies, it's because they feel our power behind them. That's us. Without us, without our willingness to fight and stand up to these companies, the union wouldn't fight for us. There's no point. They won't do anything that embarrasses them. They don't want to look embarrassed. So they feel this power that we have. They are fighting. This is a fight that these bulletins that they put out are fighting statements. They basically said we can get more. This might come up over the 2 days that we're voting for our contract. They're going to be negotiating on the 8th and the 9th when we're voting to strike. Our leaders will be negotiating. You guarantee after that first day, when they come back and say that's a 100% yes voter, that's a 99% yes voter, whatever we turn over, if it's badass, they're going to use that to try to push them across the finish line. So we need to show up strong there. We need to show our strength, our solidarity. The only issue I have is the patience part of it. In my opinion, we've been patient long enough. Our contract expired April 12th. The company is performing unfair labor practices on us left and right. Management is talking about our contracts and our negotiations with us openly, discussing their history with striking and why they're so scared. That's an unfair labor practice. Unsalaried or ununionized hourly management is telling their employees that they cannot go on strike if the strike vote passes. That's an unfair labor practice. There's so many laws being broken right now because nobody's ever been in this territory. No one is educated on this, including our leadership. So the company needs to get in gear and listen quick. or we're going to have so much ammunition to use against them. Every one of those unfair labor practice charges is an unfair labor practice strike that we can take against them once we've authorized. Don't forget, those are our protected strikes. We can take a 3-day unfair labor practice strike because a manager said something against the law, and then get back to work and get back to the table. So if our union, which has never used ULPs in history, is going to do that now, this is a time for us to stand behind and make sure that we're ready to fight. I don't like the patience part of it. I'm not interested in waiting forever, but let's see what the power of Local 8 looks like. I don't think this is, we've talked a lot about it. Tony likes to remind us all the time how badass we are, and he's right. In Central California, we are like the gem of the Albertsons. We are the most concentrated area of stores, and we make the most money for the company by far. And we're coming in to enter this fight right now. Let's flex our muscle. Make sure you add your voice. Make sure you get involved. Make sure you come to these meetings. Make sure you share this information with your coworkers. Get them plugged in, whether it's through the Facebook group, the Instagram page, the Discord server, the YouTube channel. If you're not in the know, it's your fault for not looking for the information. We are here. We're ready to help. We're excited to get you the information that you need. We want you to add your voice every step of the way. If you don't add your voice, this is not a true union democracy. Get involved, stay educated, get activated. When everything's said and done, don't tap out, double down. There's so much power waiting. It's happening right now. I can't wait to see what happens. I hope that this action and this activity scares the company. They should be scared. I hope it does. That's all. Does anybody have anything they need to say before I turn off the recording and we go to open mic, talk shit about your boss off recording mode?